Watch this.
Oh no, we better get hustling.
Twice a week, they show up for meals, music, and a little human connection. But federal budget cuts are threatening the Melba Senior Center. And the people who rely on it most are the ones paying the price. Sure, seniority matters, and Idaho's delegation has plenty of it. We spent a day with one of the most powerful Republicans in the U.S. Senate to show you how that power plays out. It's a factory that seems to be stuck in time, and that's how they like it. Idaho Candy Company's been making treats the same way for 125 years, even with a new candy man in charge. You know, when we ask you to text us during the show with questions or comments that we hope to share at the end of the show, well, sometimes we get a few we like to just kind of hold on to until we can actually do something with them. For the last several months, we've had a few of you ask about a former candidate for Idaho governor. Asking these questions, like from JB Squared, how about an update on the Ammon Bundy story? Or Russell from Star, who wanted to know, how is Ammon Bundy doing with his legal issues? Short answer, not so good. A federal bankruptcy judge in Utah ruled this week Bundy still owes all the money he was ordered to pay St. Luke's hospital system 2 years ago, which was more than $52 million. Bundy tried to get out from under that debt by claiming Chapter 7 bankruptcy, but the judge, well, he wasn't having it for a couple of reasons. One, he said an Idaho court and jury already found Ammon Bundy acted in a willful and malicious manner, so this case cannot be relitigated. And second, in setting up bankruptcy laws, Congress made it so any debt that arises out of willful and malicious conduct, well, that can't be discharged by declaring bankruptcy, which means you can't go around doing malicious things and expect to not be held civilly accountable. And Ammon Bundy was found to be liable for organizing protests outside St. Luke's Hospital back in the spring of 2022. Remember baby Cyrus? Well, that was the grandson of Bundy's friend and compatriot, Diego Rodriguez. And when the child was hospitalized by St. Luke's staff for health reasons, Rodriguez and Bundy and his People's Rights Network showed up en masse outside the downtown hospital, claiming the baby was, quote, medically kidnapped. Well, the protests disrupted operations at the hospital. They even went into lockdown for about an hour, and emergency services had to be rerouted during that time. A couple months later, St. Luke's filed a lawsuit for defamation and harassment against Bundy, Rodriguez, and their organizations. That would be the People's Rights Network and the Freedom Man PAC. A year later, an Ada County judge issued a default judgment in favor of St. Luke's because, well, Bundy and Rodriguez refused to participate in those proceedings. In July of 2023, Bundy was ordered to pay $52.5 million with interest. That year, he sold his Emmett home and moved to southern Utah, where he's been since. July of 2024, Bundy filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in that state, the Beehive State, to clear the judgment from his record. Well, back in May, St. Luke's filed a motion to stop that from happening, based on the judgment in Idaho and the fact Bundy refused to participate in any way. His case went before a federal bankruptcy judge, and on Tuesday of this week, a judge ruled Bundy could not discharge the $52.5 million he owes St. Luke's. So you may be wondering, what now? Well, that $52 million was lowered by about $2 million shortly after the original judgment, after it was discovered that was just kind of too much to award in a case like this. And since then, St. Luke's has been successful in seizing several assets totaling about $2 million. So the total Ammon Bundy and Diego Rodriguez still owe St. Luke's hospital system is a bit more than $47 million, which will also accrue at 10.25% interest every single year, which, based on the total now, is close to $5 million more every year. When I asked St. Luke's attorney Eric Stidham how they plan to collect the rest of that money, he did say they are still waiting on another adversary proceeding that could prove Bundy has assets he has yet to reveal, something hidden that could be of some value. But the short answer, Eric said, was, who knows? Mr. Bundy's answer to how he feels about this ruling, he, quote, said to me in a text, "I don't believe in slavery." You know, the entire population of Melba, Idaho can fit inside 2 large commercial planes, or maybe your typical high school auditorium. But there's nothing typical about the town's senior center. It's been around for 5 decades, provided meals, but also a vital social connection. However, with recent federal cuts, that lifeline for Melba's elders is fighting to survive and having to get creative to find some cash. And as Aspen Shumpert learned, the center is refusing to give up without a fight.
Oh, 69. All right, that's one.
Bingo again.
The Melba Senior Center has been a lifeline with community meals and activities for 50 years.
It just gets me out of the house.
Open twice a week, it's a free food pantry, a place to get a free meal and gather.
It helps kind of supply your cupboards, makes your food expenses not so difficult.
For 7 years, Michelle Martinez has been the coordinator of the center.
Has anybody been missed?
Like the best job in the whole world. Whatever we can do to just enhance our community, give them something to do, give them a chance to socialize and get together.
But recent federal cuts have slashed their budget.
Oh no, we better get hustling.
Martinez says Trump's big, beautiful bill cut down on funding for senior centers.
Our transportation budget just got hit by 50% reduction. And so that's taking our seniors to the grocery store, bringing them here to the center, taking them to doctor visits, doing all that to expand their world.
And several of the grants that help them pay for the upkeep and operations of the building are not being reinstated.
Our power bill is high because we have all old electricity. Our ovens have to be replaced, our stove needs to be replaced, fans need to be replaced, everything. It's 50 years old. If that means we have to have all the lights off for everything except for the ones we turn on, then that's what we're going to do.
Martinez says each meal costs about $15 a person.
Federal funding's only supposed to cover about a third of it. And as we know, prices have gone up, so what that third was supposed to cover no longer covers that third because it hasn't been raised to cover just the cost increases.
And because the center partners with the Idaho Food Bank, they are not allowed to charge any guests for meals or food from the pantry.
The food bank, that food is super helpful, but it's not always the meat that we need. We do have to buy that because for some people, this is their protein of the week.
Forcing them to purchase additional food they need with donations from the community.
But there's people that can't afford it, so they come in and they still need that food. They still need that lunch. They still need the social aspects that they give, that we offer.
Martinez says the cuts will force them to charge for activities and events they typically put on. But Martinez refuses to let the center close.
You don't get to sit back and say, oh no, look at how sad, look at how scary this is. Somebody help us. No, it's up to us. So does that mean you're going to see more notices of, hey, the Melba Valley Senior Center is having a private auction. Hey, the Melba Valley Senior Center is having a paint night. They're having a sourdough making class.
Efforts seniors at the center every week say they appreciate.
That's a big chunk of our life, is coming here and meeting with friends.
It's up to us to say this has value. What do we do? Because we believe in this. And that's why we go out and hustle and figure out how to raise funds.
Martinez says they are working hard to find ways to fundraise to keep the doors open, and they'll try everything before it comes to that. Ryan, this is something we've heard really all year when it comes to federal cuts, or people are having to get creative.
Yeah.
Funds that have been there for several years, now it's up in limbo, and
True.
even things getting reinstated, they don't feel super confident that they'll stick in place. So they're seeking other options.
And then finding out when those reinstatements are coming is also a thing. I mean, like we've learned from school districts and ambulance districts and even
After school care programs.
all that stuff. I mean, bake sales can only go so far
Yeah.
to support programs like this. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Aspen. Well, this week we've tried to highlight Idaho's outsized influence in Congress as a group of four. It's one of the smallest delegations in Congress, but seniority and alignment with the majority party has put the Gem State positioned in some of the most important committees on Capitol Hill. And that includes the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations, chaired by Senator Jim Risch, who welcomed our team to tag along for a day in D.C.
It's 9 a.m. in the nation's capital.
We're going to talk about
Idaho Senator Jim Risch gets his agenda for the day.
Then let's see, I've got
He keeps a collection of them, all in cardstock.
for the years I've been here, I got this, and then I got 2 or 3 more boxes every day.
Lots of moments from over the years.
Oh, we had dinner at the White House on Friday night.
Like dinner with President Donald Trump.
I wish everybody could know him like I know him. I mean, he's entirely different than you see him walking down and shouting at the media and back, you know. And he's a fun guy to hang out with.
Stories that fill in detail of a static television shot.
We're talking about the BBB. It had not passed yet. And I'm explaining to him, see that? You are going to have to get, and he ain't buying it, as you can see. And so we had kind of a spirited conversation there. Hey, Jim Risch here.
But work begins.
Yes, sir. We will get you.
I'll be here.
First, a radio interview with a local station in Boise.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here.
Insight on the long day ahead.
Actually, I've got 3 committee meetings and, of course, other meetings. But I've got a Foreign Relations Committee. We're going to have a sparring contest.
A day today with strong Idaho ties.
Yeah, nuclear is going to be the power of the future. I mean...
A high-ranking member of the majority party, Senator Risch, knows as major work moves through Congress, there is a possibility that the president calls him personally.
All right, thanks, bud. Good talking to you guys, as always.
The contact simply listed as DJT.
So he leaves this.
On this occasion, a missed call.
Jim, as you obviously heard by now, I gave you the super-duper endorsement that I did myself. That was personally done, so just take care of yourself, and you're going to have the easiest election in history. So long.
So I figure, well, I should call him back.
The super-duper endorsement.
Super-duper endorsement.
But on to the day ahead.
Hello, everybody.
First, a prep meeting for the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee.
So the Chinese government is subsidizing the precursor factories. Correct. What is the motive for that?
Now ready for a meeting on transnational crime operations. They'll have testimony from the experts.
Anything else for the good of the order? We good? All right. Good job, everybody.
On to the first of many walks through the halls to meeting number 1 of the day.
Subject?
The Senate Foreign Relations Committee.
What you want to do?
Is the plan still to recess?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with, yeah, I'm just gonna put it off. The United States Senate Foreign Relations Committee will come to order.
But at 10 a.m., it's all eyes on the committee.
China, America's greatest competitor, provides significant tax incentives to domestic producers of fentanyl precursors.
Expert insight on drug trafficking in coordination by foreign adversaries.
This particular problem.
This packed day includes a double committee meeting. Senator Risch heads to Energy and Natural Resources to talk about the future of America's power needs.
Demonstrated for the first time that nuclear energy can
keeping
be
up
used
with major resources that artificial intelligence will need.
We've been at it ever since.
The morning quickly disappears, and it's straight to the Senate floor for a round of votes. The press waits in the halls for reaction to the news of the day. Outlets from around the world looking for insight. On this day, questions about the timeline for congressional work through the summer months.
We'll get through this. We always do every year.
Senator Risch is a part of meetings with high-ranking Republicans and committee chairmen. Closed-door meetings, as you can imagine. A perfect time for us to tour some of the history, arts, and Idaho influence at our nation's capital. And that includes a look at the gorgeous Foreign Relations Committee suite and the iconic signatures hidden within it. This is where Senator Risch meets with heads of state, very celebrated guests. Senator Risch caught up with us to detail the history of an Idaho icon that lives in the National Statuary Hall, a 1910 statue of George Shoup, appointed territorial governor of Idaho in 1889, then elected as the first governor of the state. Timing and happenstance is everything at the Capitol. As we talked about Idaho, we ran into some Idahoans.
Your testimony and
2:30 p.m., item on the agenda, a small business committee hearing on Chinese espionage. A quick quick stop on the way back to his office to meet with Idahoans. On this day, an energy project aimed for Idaho.
The way I look at it,
Idaho National Lab Director John Wagner.
An agency.
There's a couple issues that we're talking about.
And finally, Chairman Brian Mason of the Shoshone-Paiute tribes of the Duck Valley Reservation. A quick reset for the senator, chatting with his wife Vicki for her thoughts as the senator and his staff head over to the Senate chambers for a speech on sanctions for Iran. Thousands of steps a day, by the way, if you're curious, so an escalator or elevator ride can be a nice break.
At this point, I'd certainly love to hear from my esteemed colleague from Idaho.
But on to one of the main events of the day.
the international community must not tolerate this activity any longer. We're already doing that. The president.
Waiting outside the chambers, media from the Middle East. The team heads back to the office one last time to start winding down for the day.
Why do you continue to come back to represent Idaho?
Almost to the end of the agenda, an interview with KTVB.
What is it about your role in this job that excites you each day?
Well, you know, that's a really good question. And as you know, I've done this a long time. But because I have done it a long time, when you get to the United States Senate, that really, really counts for something. You saw the seniority that I have today. I mean, I've gotten to the point where, just as a good example, as chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee, I deal with every treaty that the United States enters into. End of the day.
This day comes to an end where it started, recollecting the day outlined on cardstock.
That's the end of a good day?
Yep.
So that's just a window into one day for Senator Risch, and we will have a little bit of an extended look coming up on Sunday at 9 a.m. on Viewpoint. And Brian, something that I did also want to add, and you probably saw them in some of the footage there, his staff for both his office in D.C. and then the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Okay. It's unbelievable to see them all working in tandem, the way that he has staffers assigned to specific topics, projects, briefing him, making sure he understands topics. He does so much research and preparation that I didn't understand, like how much goes into getting ready for a meeting, getting ready to prepare to go up to the speech. And it's just one thing after another. Something that I spoke with Senator Risch and Senator Crapo about is going from just diametric topics, having to clear your mind and then move on to the next thing. It's impressive to watch in real time.
Is he required to keep those cards, those schedule cards?
No, he just does that. I think, you know, it's not unique that they get these schedules every day, but yeah. I don't know how many people collect them. He has them every single day since he started.
Why? I guess unless you're required, that's my only thought. It's like you're required to kind of.
And they change throughout the day too. So like they gave us a schedule, the one that we had and one at the end of the day had different items on it. So
all right,
there you
thanks,
go.
Joe. At the Idaho Candy Company in downtown Boise, the sweets have been rolling off the line since 1901. One of the longest run of candy bars in the country, born right here in Boise. The company has weathered wars, depressions, recessions, and pandemics, but now it's entering a new chapter. Okay, so what does a change in ownership mean for a company built on nostalgia? Hunter Funk found out, possibly continuing to keep going as consistently as their candy conveyor belt.
Inside the Idaho Candy Company, change moves slow. Unlike the conveyor belt and workers turning out about 34,000 famous Idaho Spud bars a day. A recipe untouched for generations, with its marshmallow center, dipped in chocolate, and sprinkled in coconut. Founded in 1901 by T.O. Smith, Idaho Candy Company survived Prohibition, the Depression, and a shifting downtown Boise.
I think we're probably the longest operating business still in the same building in Idaho, and still making candy, still doing a great job with some of the same brands right from those same time. All these old iconic Idaho brands still going strong.
Over the last few decades,
this is our 125th year of business.
It's been led by
Candyman, at least I was Candyman.
David Wagers, who kept the recipes and history intact.
Well, we've been really lucky. I mean, my dad bought Idaho Candy in 1984, so that was 41 years ago, and actually I started on the same day that he did. And we have always viewed ourselves as just kind of stewards of the brand because really it's an Idaho brand, it's very iconic, and how do you keep that going? My job was always don't screw this up.
But just like these candies, this company is always moving forward. Wager is handing over the keys.
At the end, we found a buyer that wants to continue to do that for us.
Now it's up to the Sturdivant family to take over the tradition.
My hope was to find something regional making a great candy. And Dave and I got to know each other, and I'm really excited about this fit. It's such a neat place. Everybody here knows their jobs. I've got long-term employees, and I'm the one who needs the training, which is a great situation to be in.
He says what's sweet will stay sweet because he's not planning to change much.
It's steady as she goes. We're going to protect what they've got, maintain the high quality, maintain the same look and feel.
Though he does plan to open the doors a little wider.
You know, the shop's not open on Saturday. We're going to start working to correct that, and if we got to man it ourselves for a while to make it accessible, then we'll do that. And then, like I said, figuring out how to get a tour regimen going again where people can come in and see candy made the old way.
So while the ownership changes, the Idaho Candy Company will keep doing what it does best, rolling on through the next decade, just like its conveyor belt. While Wager will miss the quality control.
Every day you got to eat a little bit of candy. You got to make sure it's okay. It's part of the deal.
He's thankful for his memories as the candy man.
I've been really lucky to be a part of that for over 40 years. Really, it's been the thrill of my life.
So in the near future, you might just be able to walk in on a Saturday and even get a tour. Because right now, they're not picking up the traffic that comes in on the weekends.
Yeah, and Saturday's a good day with this downtown market, just a block away or so. Yeah. I mean, it's right there, so that's good.
I also learned summer is not the busy season, which I would think it would be if people were walking downtown.
You want that comfort food in the wintertime,
yeah,
I guess.
It's true.
Candy, sweet stuff. All right, thanks, Hunter. B&B in Nampa says, the Bundys have always been difficult. What happened in Nevada and in Oregon, he says, they seem to thrive on this kind of attention. I think it's way past time to start giving it to them. Well, he did run for governor at one point, and $52.5 million or $50 million or $47 million is a large chunk of change. You kind of wanted to keep track of that. The story on the Melba Senior Center literally brought me to tears. So when are things going to be great again? Mike wants to know. That's a very good question. Anna from Caldwell, kind of along these same lines. In Senator Risch's busy day, did Joe ask if he had time to explain his big, beautiful bill to the senior citizens of Melba? I don't think so. This is happening kind of all over the place. We've seen it everywhere. But yeah, that's kind of part of what's happening with all these cuts, federal cuts, trickling on down to some of these small towns across Idaho. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood. Love to hear about it. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Continue with us and watch free now on the KTVB Plus app everywhere you stream.